What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece treasure cruise video, and today I'm bringing you guys a brand new version of the treasure map preparation, because for this particular treasure map I have seen a lot of people complain, and like literally even people that pulled the rare recruit characters in this event are still relatively confused as to how you're supposed to team build around this particular piece of content, and I can understand why. This is looking to be one of the worst treasure maps in terms of the boss structure. Mainly just the Perospero invasion or the intrusion boss seems to be where a lot of the problems keep stemming from. So in this video today we're going to be making another prep video, as I said, but we're not focusing on free-to-play teams. We're going to be focusing on more accessible teams, talking about like if you pulled on the New Year's Sugo Fest, you have some of the characters from that event, and you know you didn't really pull too much on the Treasure Map Sugo Fest in January, and we're moving into February now, and we just want to go ahead and try and build teams with characters that are not super recent, like characters that are, you know, not characters that are released in the past month or so. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing today. This is going to include some rare recruit characters, so for those of you who have some rare recruits, you'll be able to use them in certain scenarios, just depending on what you have. So I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the video. And of course, if you guys are waiting for my own personal teams, that will arrive after I've done pulls on part 3. Not too sure when that will be coming out, but obviously, you know, whenever part 3 comes out and I have time to do it, I'll be streaming my pulls, show you guys what I build on that stream as well, and we'll go from there. So let's jump into this video here though. So the first team here is going to be against Jack. Now, this team is going to be using Olin as the captain, and remember that, you know, when I normally build teams, I normally focus on building the final boss team first, and basically a lot of these teams are just going to be leftovers from those teams that I have already built, and Jack being the easiest boss fight. You know, you can basically have whatever you want as long as you have some type of way to get around the resilience and some type of way to get around the 2 turns of damage threshold. If you have that, it's going to be a very easy fight. The secondary boss up against King. Now remember, with this quest is that strength X and quick characters receive cooldown, so build a team around that. And of course, as we already know, that Queen is going to be one of the recommended characters for this fight. Also, the free-to-play Dex Jack that recently released is also a recommended unit for this fight. However, we're going to be using him a little bit later on in this quest. However, for this fight here, if you have the brand new Arena Queen, definitely just use him as the captain. That's pretty much all you need in order to get through it. If you have some type of way to generate matching slots for your team, that's also going to be a huge benefit, and with the Queen specials, that's going to be enough to pierce his barrier, as well as removing the burn that gets inflicted to your team. On this team here though, you see we have this Marigold here. This would be replaced by the free-to-play Pirate Rumble Marigold that is going to be arriving in the next day or 2 on Global. So if you end up playing a bit of Rumble, you'll get that character, literally just chuck her in the team and it's going to work fine. Moving on now to Queen. Queen is going to give cooldown to fighters, slashers, and driven characters. So the big recommended unit here is going to be the Kizuna Blackbeard. Now, unfortunately, if some of you out there were not lucky enough to get those super evolution skulls to evolve Blackbeard, you can definitely still use the regular 5-star Blackbeard as the captain. Obviously, the 5-star plus is going to be far more superior, but it will still work. And you also need some type of character to give you cooldown reduction, as you will be 1 turn of special reversed, and the special bind and the special reverse is only happening to your crewmates, so your captains are unaffected, meaning that you can use your Blackbeard to unspecial bind your characters, as well as removing the defense and giving you a conditional boost. And then in this team, we're using the free-to-play Garp that arrived during the New Year's celebration, who can give cooldown to fighter characters, and he also changes the left side of our crew to strength, and with his crewmate ability, he will treat them as beneficial to our characters. Works very, very well. So this is going to be a pretty good team moving forward. Don't really see too many issues here. As I said, mainly the Blackbeard is the most important character, and some type of way to generate some matching slots for your team is obviously going to be huge, and also, you know, being able to resist the special reverse is also going to help a lot. Moving on now to the final of the Battle Rush bosses is going to be Kaido, and once again remember that fighters, slashers, and cerebral characters receive the cooldown here. In my opinion, like the core of the Toadskii, Trafalgar Law, and the Cracker, those 3 characters, all free to play and relatively accessible. Those are the ones that I would suggest here. Just building a team around those characters makes this fight just way easier. The 2 bottom characters in Zoro Sanji as well as Shanks Ben Beckman just can be replaceable with literally anything. Just having the core of Law, Cracker, and Toadskii is enough to get around all of the debuffs, and as well as giving you matching slots, gives you color affinity, gives you a chain boost. So the bottom 2 characters can be essentially whatever you need in order to get through the fight. So make sure to bring those characters to get around those gimmicks. Finally, now talking about the final boss versus Lin. Now, this is still going to be a very difficult fight, despite what we've said about Perospero being a very difficult fight. This is still going to be annoying. So, Strength, Dex, and Quick characters receive the cooldown for this quest. So you see that, you know, Whitebeard and Roger do not receive the cooldown. And that's not really going to be a problem because, you know, even though their special is amazing, they're mainly just here just to provide us with a bit of boost, you know, in the stages where we may need some type of attack or orb boost. I'm not too sure if it's really required, but they are a relatively high point booster, so do keep that in mind, listed as a 1.35 booster. And if you don't have them, it's not going to make this team any better or worse, you know, just a relatively high point booster that will work okay. Now, we do have the support of Bartolomeo attached to Luffy and the Straw Hats to remove some of the paralysis that gets inflicted to our team. It's not going to remove all the paralysis, but the switch effect of Luffy and the Straw Hats will resist their own paralysis completely, and it is only the captains that are inflicted with this paralysis as well. If I remember correctly, I do think Wanda and Carrot with their switch effect also remove their own paralysis, actually. They do. Okay, so you know what? You don't even need Barto, to be honest, because the switch effect is all you need in order to get around those inflictions of paralysis. So you don't really have to worry about that at all. You could literally put whatever support effect you actually want. But in terms of the gimmicks, we also get Despaired. The enemy has Resilience as well on stage 2, so that's where the Don Creek Pirates are going to be good for removing Despair, removing the Resilience, because they actually inflict poison, and they also give us a 2x conditional boost against that as well, so it's really perfect as well. And then we can use the switch effect of Roger and Newgate to provide us with some matching slots, and also the attack and orb boost if we need it. We can also use Luffy and the Straw Hats on that stage as well, again, if we need it. And then moving on to the final stage versus Olin, who is a quick boss. Remember that there is 3 turns of special reverse given to our crewmates, so that's where the friend captain, once again, of Kara and Wanda is going to be good. Alternatively, you can use the friend captain of Dog or Cat, because their super type or super type special will resist cooldown by 1, and then their actual special in and of itself will resist an additional 2 turns of special reverse. So Dog, Cat, or Kara and Wanda will work for this particular quest, and you are inflicted with a chain coefficient reduction, which is where this Jack is going to be useful for giving a chain lock. And then, of course, because of the captain of Kara and Wanda being able to go through damage immunity and damage reduction by themselves, or by using the Dog or Cat as the captain, making our whole team bypass defensive effects, both of those will work for this fight versus Olin. And now we get to talk about the most fun fight out of the entire treasure map, being Perospero. The cooldown is given to fighters, slashers, and cerebral characters. Now, just having a quick look at this team that we have here, not all the characters here are fully boosted by our captains. We do have Roger and Newgate who provide the attack boost to striker and slasher characters, so Borsalino and Luffy and the Straw Hats will not be receiving the boost. However, they do have really key support effects that will help a lot during this quest. And with this team in mind, we are ideally using Kara and Wanda as the friend captain for this quest. Does make it a lot easier. Now, in terms of the actual gimmicks, now on stage 2, we're inflicted with 3 turns of attack down. We also get 3 turns of paralysis, and the enemy has 5 turns of damage threshold. So in terms of the attack down, luckily Rayleigh and Gaban can remove 5 turns of attack down, so we don't have to worry about that. The paralysis is removed via Bartolomeo, and the damage threshold is removed via the special ability of Borsalino with that support of Aokiji, which can remove 2 turns of the damage threshold, which would mean that when we activate Tashigi, normally Tashigi only removes 4 turns of threshold, the enemy has 5. So that support of Aokiji is actually very useful in allowing us to get around all of the turns of the damage threshold, and that is pretty much how we're going about it. You know, we can use Luffy and the Straw Hat special on stage 2 as well if need be. Probably a really good option considering that they provide so many good boosts to our team. And then remember, he does revive on stage 2, which is why Luffy and the Straw Hats is really ideal, because they'll allow us to, you know, get multiple turns of attack, orb, chain, whatever you need, right? And then Perospero on the final boss stage does a lot of nasty things. You know, our top row is inflicted with Slot Bind. We can only use 2 specials per turn for the first turn. He has a 4-hit strength slot barrier. It's just a lot of nasty things, which is why I would recommend Kara and Wanda. It just deals with that, considering that after we kill whatever boss, I think it might be a Perospero, it might be a Big Mom, I'm not too sure who the boss is going to be on stage 2. But remember, after we kill the boss on stage 2, we actually get 3 turns of special reverse, which is again why Kara and Wanda are really good, because when we get to the final boss stage, we get that cooldown reduction via the captain effect, so it makes it really, really good. But yeah, that's probably what I would suggest against that fight. And, you know, I mean, again, this is not super accessible, I suppose, because it does have 2 Super Sugo Fest exclusives on it. But it's definitely a lot easier to build than using all the new badge, right? So hopefully this, guys, you know, helps you out a little bit in terms of some ideas, or giving you guys some inspiration as for some teams that you guys may want to build for this upcoming treasure map. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one too. So that will end this video today, and remember, I will be uploading my own personal teams in the next day or 2 whenever I do pulls on the Sugo Fest, so definitely look forward to that if you guys are interested in that at all. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.